This drill teaches the first step for teaching the bridge fit for blocking defenders on the line of scrimmage and in space. We found that teaching players the position they want to end in first is an effective tool for learning, so the fit to uncoil trains players backwards, helping them learn where they should end up to provide a conceptual understanding of the optimal mechanics required to engage and execute the bridge block at full strength. Like all of our drill videos in the Tip of the Spear Level 1 contact system, proper execution of the bridge block calls for proper coil posture and the uncoiling of the hips, so it's important you're familiar with these steps before advancing to live contact situations. Step 1. Setting up on the pole. Start directly in the center of the pole with a triangular base and lean your body weight on the pole with the hands in front of you and your feet behind you. Adjust your hands so your palms are engaged and your thumbs are rotated outward. Your hands should look like they would if you were holding a large punch bowl, supporting the bottom while stabilizing the bowl from the sides. Find the right distance from the pole that allows a bend in the elbows at around 120 degrees, which is required to generate lift. To ensure the strike lands long, the elbows must be out in front of the body. The exact distance will vary from player to player, but no less than 6 inches is a good rule of thumb to ensure contact occurs at a distance. The elbows should be pointed directly toward the ground and not visible from behind your body. Arch your low back, maintaining a neutral spine posture with the head and eyes up. Your body weight is supported by the insteps of the feet, with the toes and heels touching the ground. Once this position is achieved, you can begin the drill, which is designed to uncoil the hips while maintaining the perfect bridge fit on the pad from start to finish. As you uncoil your hips, the knees will begin to rotate down and outward, away from the body, to clear the way for hip extension. Your toes should be pointed outward in a position that's comfortable for you. This position will vary slightly from player to player, but having your toes and knees out allows you to easily bring your hips to full extension when uncoiling for contact. Before your hips advance toward the pad, shift your body weight forward, but not to the point where your heels will come off the ground. We call this weight transfer teetering. Teetering is a subtle shift of your weight forward, emulating momentum toward your target in advance of the uncoiling process. As you feel your weight shift, you will tilt your pelvis backwards as seen here. We call this movement tucking the tail, which is key for delivering maximum force on your opponent because it aligns the body's posture in a synergistic manner which yields the greatest power. Once you can teeter and tuck your tail on command, work on uncoiling your hips with speed. This will pay dividends in competition because perfect mechanics plus speed equates to applied force on the field, as opposed to using brute force, which is unfortunately a very common approach to base blocking defenders. As your hips begin to uncoil, keep your insteps grounded and make sure you're not rolling onto your toes. Playing on your toes will compete with efforts to drive force through your hips, and it gives rise to an unbalanced posture, which will subject you to falling on the ground, face first, or getting pulled and shed by defenders, which will result in losing your block. As your hips near full extension, make sure your elbows remain within the frame of your torso. The natural tendency is to allow the elbows to bow out as you uncoil the hips, so be disciplined on this step and visualize the points of your elbows drawing down and in toward your belly button. This is critical to effectively transfer and sustain optimal force through the hands without the arms collapsing on impact. The lev cuffs are a great tool to train players to keep their arms, hands, and elbows in perfect alignment. We encourage players to do several sets of this drill per day as often as they can. The Fit to Uncoil is a great pre-practice drill because it promotes perfect mechanical habits for blocking, which is key for consistently performing at peak levels without using the helmet.